To handle data files, we need a file variable. It can be called as a file object, even it can be called as a file handle. This particular object can be created using open function, file function, or even with statement. These two, open and file function, they are the built-in functions of the Python. Once that file is opened, it can be used for accessing various methods for file manipulation. Then, regarding file opening. File opening communicates with the operating system, which knows where your data for each file is stored. We ask operating system to find by its name, and it makes sure that that particular file exists. Open function can have two arguments. The first one is the name of the file. Second one is the mode of accessing the file. That means how that particular file is going to be get used in our program. Syntax is this one: file variable or file object or file handle, followed by an equal to. Then you write open, within the bracket of open, write file name, put a comma, write the access mode, close the bracket of the open function. The default file mode it is read mode. Basic three modes of file opening are read, write, and append. They are indicated using letters. R stands for read, W stands for write, A stands for append. Read, it is used to read from a file. Write is used to write into a file. Append is used to write at the end of the file without losing the previous content. For doing all these operations, our program is using a temporary storage area called buffer. It will keep all your informations before it is being written onto your file. Now, we are going to see the working of a buffer. I have already told you, when we want to write the content to a file, first data is going to a buffer. Once the buffer is full, data is written onto your file. Suppose when we are going to close the file, sometimes unsaved data might be there in your buffer. It also will be get transferred to your file. Using flush function, you can forcefully transfer the content of the buffer to the file. If your file opening is a successful one, operating system will return a file handle. That file handle is not your actual data content of your file, but that particular variable or object it is used to read your information from the file. That file handle will be returned to your program only if that file exists. Now, this is an example for file opening statement. F is equal to open within bracket test.txt. That means I am trying to open a text file, and if such a file is existing, operating system will give a file handle. It will be get stored in the variable f. And here, see, second argument of the open function is not specified. That means it is going to have default access mode. That means read mode. And you can give any name other than f also. Naturally, a file is always created in the default folder where Python is installed. Even it can be created in the folder where we are storing our programs. Now we are going to see certain situations in unsuccessful file open. If file does not exist in your system, open function will fail with traceback. That means your interpreter will give a detailed explanation about unsuccessful file open with the name of the error which occurred in the shell mode. And remember, you will not get file handle from the operating system if it is not able to open a file. And name of the error, it is classified into a particular group called file not found error. It means that there is no such file in the present working folder. Now, this is an example for unsuccessful file open. I know that in my folder there is no file called test.txt, and I am trying to open, and I am using a file handle variable called f. F is equal to open test.txt, and I am trying to print the value of f. It will report you file not found error because that f is not having any file handle returned from the operating system. Now we are going to see file modes. The first mode which we are going to see, it is R. R stands for reading mode. I have told you already that is considered as a default mode. If file does not exist, it will return file not found error. RB stands for reading your content from a binary file. So R is used in text file, RB is used in binary file, and that is the default read mode or mode of your binary file. If your mode you are going to write as R plus, it is considered as that particular file handle can be used for reading as well as for writing, and file pointer will be always pointing to the beginning of the file, and that thing is happening with all the previous two modes also. If you have written RB plus, it can be used for reading as well as writing in binary format in binary file. At that time also file pointer will be in the beginning of the file. Suppose if you are trying to open a file in W mode, that means write mode, it can be used only for that particular purpose. If any content is there, it will be get truncated. You will not be able to see it later, and whatever you are going to write as a new one, only that one will be there as a part of your file. And if such a file is not existing in your computer, it will create a new file with write mode. And next mode, it is WB. It is used for writing your information in binary format in a binary file. If the content is existing, it will remove that one, and your new content only will be get stored in your binary file. If the file is not existing, it will create a new file with writing mode. Suppose if we are going to use W plus in text mode, that means text file, it can be used for both reading as well as writing. It will also overwrite the existing content of the file. If the file is not existing, it will create a new file. You can do reading and writing in that particular file. WB plus, it's for writing and reading your information in binary format in a binary file. It will also overwrite the existing file content. If the file is not existing, it will create a new one for you. There you can do reading and writing. The next one, it is A. That means append mode. Now the file pointer is going to point to the end of the file. It will not erase the previous content of your file. If the file is not existing, it creates a new file in writing mode. Suppose if you are going to use AB, it is the appending mode in binary format. File pointer will be pointing at the end of your file. If such a file is not existing, it will create a new one and it will be opened in writing mode. If it is A plus you are going to use in a text file, it opens for appending and reading. File pointer will be pointing at the end of the file. You can attach your new content to that one. If the file is not existing, you can create it will create a new one for you. In that one you can do both reading and writing. If you are going to use AB plus, it opens your file. There you can do appending and reading in binary format, and file pointer will be pointing at the end of the file. If the file does not exist, it will create a new one. There you can do reading and writing. Few more points regarding file opening. Suppose if the file does not exist in the same folder, then along with the file name, you have to give the complete path of that file. That means in which drive, in which folder that particular file is existing. And file extensions like .tat, .dat, it's not mandatory, but for the convenience. That means when you are going to search, it will really help you to trace out those particular files in a much simpler way. Then, for opening, you can even use file function. It can be used just like what you have seen the format with open function. Now we are going to see close function. It is used to close a file object. It flushes all the unwritten data from your buffer to move on to your file. It will detach your file object from the file. If you don't have any operation to be done on a file, it's better to close it. The file handle will be automatically get closed if it starts pointing to another file. But the best practice is to close using close function itself. Syntax is this one, file object dot close. For example, if your file object is f dot close, can be used to detach that file from the file object.